This is Lions on Tap, a weekly look inside the Lions Den. Highlights, interviews, and a look ahead to what's next for the Leos. Now, here are your hosts, Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
Welcome to BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the BC Lions Audio Network. As the man said, it's the Moj, Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski from the Lions Audio Network. We are coming to you tonight from the Taphouse in Surrey, the Guildford area, 102A Avenue. If you're in the neighborhood, pop on by. It's going to be a great night here at the Taphouse as we interview one of the biggest legends in the game, Matt Baker.
Yes, it's a big night at BC Place. Wally Buono and the Water Boys. Well-deserved. Going on to the Wall of Fame halftime ceremony. Get your tickets, stay in your seats. And yeah, we've got a pretty good turnout tonight. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, what do you think, Wally? You still got some pull with people.
Usually they're over 60, so. But no, it's always nice to see friends and fans come out.
Well, let's ask you, what have you been up to since retirement? I mean, you know, we see you at the games, of course, but we see you at the odd public events. But what's keeping Wally Buono busy these days?
Well, one of the things I have been doing the last couple of months is my daughter's working for Make-A-Wish. And
Christy, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I've been doing a lot of things with her, and it's been very satisfying, and it's just great to be able to help out and see these kids when they get their wish. It's just amazing. So it's been fun, and it's something that's worthwhile.
You still watch a lot of football, I take it?
Well, what I do is I tape all the games, and I watch them all on tape so I can fast forward and reverse and
Coach style.
And I drive my wife nuts, but she's getting used to it. And no, I enjoy watching it as a fan. Football is something that I've always enjoyed. So, you know, when you watch it, you feel for the guys when games don't go their way, and you feel good for the teams that win.
I was going to ask you, how do you watch the games? Do you still watch them as a coach, looking at personnel, looking at scheme, or do you kind of just kick back and just enjoy it as a fan?
Well, I think my wife would say that I'm too much of a coach, and sometimes I get a little bit rowdy on the couch. But, you know, when you're watching the games, it's a lot easier than when you're down on the sidelines and things are happening, and there's a lot of things going on.
Wall of Fame, like we talked about. Let's talk about the honor. What goes through your mind?
Well, you know, the thing that goes through my mind is this, you know, at first was the confidence that David Braley and Bob Ackles had in me. And, you know, when you come to a new place, you know, obviously there's, expectations. But, you know, Bobby and David made it such that, they gave me a lot of confidence in what we wanted to do and what we wanted to achieve. And then, you know, from there, we had some great people here. It wasn't, like I came to an organization that didn't have great coaches or great staff members or, and great players. And, we got together with David and Bob. We decided what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. And Bob Ackles said, we're going to do things first class. And, that was his motto, and everything he did it was first class. And, David, I always say this, he always backed it up with his money. And when we needed something, whether it was a player or equipment, or I remember one time telling him, David, I need $500,000 to buy video equipment. He, first of all, didn't know what it was.
$500,000, wow.
And, then we went from there, and, 6 months later, everybody had computers. Everybody had the most modern technology that it came for scouting and for breaking down films. And, that was the price you got to pay to be successful.
And now they get the film on the iPad right away now. It's even developed. You mentioned Mr. Braley and Mr. Ackles and coming over from Calgary. That was quite the process, right? I mean, you were under contract with the Stampeders. There was all kinds of going back and forth. Calgary wanted compensation. They wouldn't give it. What was that process like that got you here, for those that might not be familiar?
Well, it was kind of strange because, there's no way that Michael Frederick wanted me to coach his team anymore, especially after I wanted to cut his son in training camp that year. And I told my wife after training camp, we're going to be moving soon, so you start packing. And, then from there, obviously I had a contract, and they wanted to do some kind of an exchange with BC, and I kept on saying to everybody, hey, don't make a trade. They're going to let me go eventually, and that's what happened.
Wally Buono is our guest. This is BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the Lions Audio Network. We're coming to you from the Taphouse in Guildford. Of course, big thank you to the staff here in Owen for having us, and got a lot of people here. How many people here came to see Wally Buono tonight? Give him a big round of applause. We even got crowd noise today in the whole 9 yards.
Good.
There you go.
He signed a few autographs, too. Yeah.
And pictures as well. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get Wally's thoughts on what's happening with the BC Lions this year, his thoughts watching this team get out to a 5-2 record. And tonight, folks, check this out. Nick Kowalski's world-famous trivia revolving around one Wally Buono. Looking forward to all of it. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the Lions Audio Network.
Now, back to Lions on Tap. Here again is Bob Marjanovic.
It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic. I should know my own name. Along with Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski from the Lions Audio Network. We're coming to you from the Taphouse in Surrey on 102A Avenue. And a big thank you to Owen and his staff for having us here tonight. The reason I'm rattled, we got the legend beside us. Wally Buono is our guest.
Got to step your game up,
Spit out my own name. It's interesting because, Wally, we were talking about the CFL and how you're watching the game prior to the break. One of the big topics of discussion this year, and before we get into the Lions, has been quarterbacks and the league developing quarterbacks and how difficult it is to find those quarterbacks that now are being snapped up by the NFL as they go to the smaller, more athletic quarterback that they would neglect maybe 15 or 20 years ago, and now is finding a spot on an NFL practice roster or as a starter in the NFL. You were so good at developing quarterbacks over the years in Calgary and in BC. What was your big key?
Well, the big key is the personality of the individual. Most quarterbacks that play collegiate football in Canada or in the States, they can throw the football, they can do all those mechanical things. But a good example was we go to free agent camp for the BC Lions. I think it was in Seattle or Portland, I can't remember. And Travis Lulay is there, so you watch Travis Lulay interact with the players, take control of the, practice, show the leadership, show the it factor that you look for. Now, did he have the best arm in the world? Not necessarily. Was he the fastest guy in the world? Not necessarily. But yet, when you look at the intangible, which is about leadership, about personality, about work ethic, here's a guy that was a cut above. And when you saw it, you could say, hey, we'll teach him the game, but he will be able to go out and do all the intangible things that you need for a quarterback to do. And, those are the tough things that you have to find.
All right, so you find these guys with the intangibles and the physical skills, you bring them onto your roster. The one thing that you were famous for was somehow, some way getting these guys reps, even as third or fourth stringers. And, you look at that now. Do you think enough teams are doing that?
No, I don't. And, a lot of it has to do with how football is practiced today. Training camps are shorter, limited contacts, limited two-a-days. Practices, even during the season, there's no pads. You can only be on the field a certain amount of time. You can only do so many reps. So for a young quarterback who's not been brought up with the Canadian game, it's hard for him to go through all those reps that he needs to see, whether it's in practice or not. But he needs to be able to see them. And, one of the things we always did is our third quarterback, we kept him up after practice. And, we would take the first 8 plays of team script, and he would be the quarterback with all the number 2s or the practice roster players against the defense, and he'd go and make his reads, make his good throws, make his mistakes. Then he'd be with the coach after analyzing what he's doing, what he's thinking, and, that's how you teach him.
Of all the guys that you had under your tutelage, which is the guy you look back on and you kind of go, you know what? That was a really good story. What that guy did. And I think I know the answer to this one, but I'll let you answer the question.
Well, there's a number of guys. I mean, the greatest quarterback I believe that we ever coached was Doug Flutie. And Doug, God bless him, as great as he was as competitive as all can be, but never thought that he was bigger than the team. You got to think of the Mike Rileys, the Dave Dickinsons, the Jeff Garcias. These guys, they came here and they had great success in college, but, they worked hard at learning how to be a professional quarterback. And, like you say, when you look at those kind of guys, they're not coming to the CFL today. They're going to the NFL.
That's certainly an all-star team of quarterbacks you just rattled off. Getting back to Saturday and the Wall of Fame, you can certainly pick a few, but your time with the BC Lions, what are you most proud of? What stands out the most as far as what you accomplished?
Well, I think the thing that I'm really proud of is the people that were involved in the organization, from management, to football ops, the Catos, the Bill Rochelle's, the Jamie Terrace, the George Chaikas. These are kind of guys behind the scenes, but
right.
But they were so much a part of BC Lion football, and we had some great players. Like when I first got here, I remember I never realized how good Carl Kidd was. I never realized how good Corey Mantica was, and how good Angus Reid was, and Kelly Bates, and these were guys that they bled BC Lion football, and we had great coaches that were here or came with me, and and we had great personnel people, Bob Obilovich and Roy Shivers, and when you look at the people they brought here, they brought some tremendous players, and what you have to do is just create an environment for them, tell them what you expect and get it out of them, right?
Wally, on Thursday night, we were flying back home from Winnipeg. Obviously, being captain, it wasn't the result this team was expecting, and knowing that we had you booked for this, I was really curious to ask that you go into that environment and you get blown out. That's a complete wake-up call to not only this team, but especially the defense, right? I was curious to ask, have you ever gone through a situation like that where that was a terrible result and the team had to quickly bounce back, and maybe did you have any strategies you specifically used to motivate the team after a result like that? Well,
my first year in 1990, we went to Toronto, and I think they had scored 50 points on us at halftime. I think we ended up losing 68-17, and the funny thing about it was, we were in Toronto, we had to fly home, and we had to bye that week, so I bit my tongue and I told the guys, I'm not going to punish you for losing, because that's not what we get paid to do. I'll let you have your 5 days off. That's something that you earned because of the fact that you worked hard to this point, not because we won or lost on the game on Saturday. So they took the 5 days off. They came back. We were in pads, I think, 7 straight days. Okay, and we worked really, really hard. I think we ended up going and winning the next 6 or 7 games in a row. And, that's the thing that I want to talk about, that is you don't punish the players because they've lost the game. That's the end result of just poor play. If a player hasn't played well, cut him. Okay, but don't punish them because they lose. That's not necessarily how it should be. And, you got to respect the players. They had a bad night. Winnipeg had a great night. Let's move on to the next week, and let's see what happens.
Talking about Winnipeg and that game, and now coming up to Calgary, you've seen this Lions team. You've watched the games this year. Just your thoughts on this team as it progresses through the season. And by the way, he corrected me as I went into break. I said 5-2. They're actually 6-2. So he has been watching the games.
Oh, I have. And 6 wins is hard, no matter how you look at it. But and you got to be proud of that, because winning 6 out of 8 games is not easy, especially when you're playing some of the teams that are out there. The Lions will bounce back. You can tell they got veterans, they got leadership. They enjoy football. They like to be physical, and when they play well at home. And Calgary's going to come in here and be quite, I think, assertive, and BC has to match that. They have to match the intensity, and they have to match the physicality. That was obviously when they went to Winnipeg, it didn't happen, and you saw what happened to them.
Calgary this weekend, I mean, obviously the two teams that you coached in this league, do you ever identify with one more than the other?
That's not a fair question, Moj.
I'm a hard-hitting journalist.
Oh, yeah, you are too, but let's put it this way. It's getting harder and harder to separate.
Okay.
When I was a good example was, I got 2 phone calls from Calgary about getting some kind of recognition, and I turned one down both times. And a part of me said, I can't stand at midfield at McMahon Stadium and feel like I'm cheering for these Stampeders. Okay, that's because as much as I loved what I did there and enjoyed being there, I worked and was a BC Lion, and I just couldn't see myself doing that. So I said to them, "Thank you very much, but no, thank you."
All right, we're going to let you run because we got Wally Buono trivia coming up. By the way, before we let you go, have you ever told your wife about the night we spent in Montreal and watched the sun come up?
Well, I think we did, but my wife knows that I enjoy a good cigar, and especially after a win, I think she knows you enjoy a good cigar yourself, right?
Let me say, my Facebook memories just told me we had the 7-year anniversary of that trip where we couldn't quite fly home right away.
So the backstory behind it was we played Montreal, we beat the Alouettes. It was an Operation Orange, so we had 30, 40 extra people on the trip.
Full flight.
Full flight, and coming home, the plane's delayed. And we thought it was delayed, then the flight was canceled. So then we had to race to Neil McAvoy found, I think it was a Hilton by the airport, by Trudeau.
Marriott.
Yeah, it was a Marriott. We went from Dorval back to Trudeau because we're at Dorval because it was a charter. We went to Trudeau Airport. We got the hotel. And there's 70, 80
Mirabel
people.
Was the charter airport.
Yes.
Mirabel.
So it was 70 or 80 people trying to check in the hotel. Wally looks at me and says, "It's going to be a while. Let's go downstairs and smoke a cigar." So we started smoking these cigars, 4:30 in the morning. Sun's coming up. It's already 5:36 in the morning, and we're smoking cigars. That was a great night.
Never forget Chris Rainey lying on the lobby couch with his big Florida Gators blanket, sleeping on the couch while people were lined up checking in.
That was a
doozy.
Yeah, that was a crazy night. One of those all-time stories. Wally, thanks again for stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend Wally Buono going into the Wall of Fame on Saturday. Lions and Stampeders. On the other side, Nick Kowalski's world-famous trivia featuring one Wally Buono. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the Lions Audio Network.
Now, back to Lions on Tap. Here again is Bob Marjanovic.
It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, along with Nick Kowalski and Matt Baker from the Lions Audio Network. Great night here at the Taphouse in Surrey, 102A Avenue. Of course, Owen and his staff, a big thank you to them for having us. Before we get to Nick Kowalski's world-famous trivia, Saturday, big day at the game. Matt Baker with all the initiatives that the Lions have going on. Fill the fans in.
Yeah, very special as always. It's our Purelator Tackle Hunger Night as well. So fans that bring food and cash donations for the local food banks get their pictures taken with the Grey Cup. How cool is that, Moj? That's pretty cool. You get your picture taken with the great trophy. So Terry Fox Plaza, where that's all going, 1 o'clock, I believe, Dwayne, our BC Lions backyard party, presented by Play Now Sports, $5 Molson Coors.
Hold on, is the backyard Dwayne's backyard?
Dwayne's back. He's having us all over.
That'd be awesome.
No, I was just confirming the time. 1 o'clock. Music, face painting, games for kids, fans of all ages, but 19 plus, $5 Molson Coors. And then, of course, we had the guest of honor tonight, Wally Buono himself, Dennis Skalski, Maury Keith, Tom Malone, Jamie Pitt-Plado to be enshrined at halftime. We'll have an alumni dance team performance as well.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, so make sure you pre-tape your interviews so you can pay attention and right before kickoff. Yeah, it's going to be great. 4 o'clock. Hopefully, let's hope for some good weather, hope for an open roof, and let's get back in that win column.
And, of course, if people want more info, just check out bclions.com.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Kowalski, you're up. World-famous trivia tonight featuring one Wally Buono, I believe.
Had to go with a Wally Buono question this week. So, Wally Buono, obviously known having the most CFL wins with 282 in his career. And I checked this manually, so I'm proud of this one. It's kind of more of a random question that I'm not expecting you guys to know, but rather give educated guesses out. So out of those 282 wins, Wally Buono was beaten 18 teams, not franchises, but teams. Key aspect of that.
Ottawa Rough Riders.
I want you to name them in order, though. Who do you think he has the most wins against? Let's start with that. You guys can collab a bit.
Well, it's got to be a Western Division
Edmonton.
team.
Edmonton's incorrect. Edmonton's number 2. Wally Buono has beat them 36
Okay, we'll go
times.
Saskatchewan first.
Saskatchewan is first. Wally Buono
Winnipeg is 3.
Winnipeg's in a tie for 3 with somebody else.
BC.
33. No, BC.
Calgary.
BC 6. Calgary's 8th.
Calgary's 8.
So you guys are
Toronto?
off here, yeah. Toronto was tied for 3rd. You guys are missing the 5th one.
Hamilton.
Hamilton is correct.
Tiger
He has
Cats.
32 wins.
Okay.
over Hamilton.
So some of these lesser franchises we're talking about are going to be toward the bottom.
This could be like...
What are we at, like 5?
We don't have to go in
7 so
order,
far.
though.
Let's try and go in order. Who do you think is 7th?
Ottawa Rough Riders.
Red Blacks, Rough Riders, you name it.
But 7th is Montreal. I guess you guys forgot about
Oh, we
that
forgot
one.
Montreal.
You'll go Ottawa at
Okay.
9.
Which Ottawa? We're going, all 3
Rough
Ottawas
Riders.
are there.
Rough Riders.
Correct.
Yeah.
12 wins.
Then I go Red Blacks.
Red
No, incorrect. It is an Ottawa team. It's the
Renegades.
Oh, Renegades.
Renegades.
Then I go
7
Red
victories.
Blacks.
That's incorrect. We're going into the U.S. now.
Shreveport.
That's incorrect.
Sacramento.
Correct. 4 wins. That's the most against any American
Okay.
team.
So we're going San Antonio Texans. That's a separate team. If you're not going franchises, are they on that list?
Baltimore.
They're toward the bottom with 1 career win against
Memphis.
Baltimore
Memphis Mad
CFLers.
Dogs.
Memphis is another one. He has 1 win against Memphis. You guys did say Red Blacks. He has 3 wins against the Red Blacks. They're
Okay.
12th.
So we got, 3 American teams left?
Yeah, I heard Baltimore. We'll give you guys
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I gave you, I said Baltimore a while
Shreveport
ago.
Pirates. We
Shreveport's
got
there. So 2 more American.
Memphis.
Birmingham Barracudas.
1 career win against the Birmingham Barracudas.
Oh, the
And we're
Barracudas of
missing-
Birmingham.
Oh, Las Vegas Posse.
That's
yeah.
correct. But
There
yeah,
you go. Somebody gave us a
We
little
had
help
some
in the
help there,
there
yeah.
you go.
46 victories against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Some coaches don't even get 46 wins in their career.
Wow.
He just got them against Saskatchewan. Wow.
And I manually did this, so I'm proud of
Because
it.
you forget how it went. Like Sacramento became the San Antonio Texans. Many people probably don't realize that. That was a franchise move. So
There you go.
a smart move going teams as opposed to franchises. That really
Ottawa's,
breaks
yeah.
it all down.
Great stuff,
That's
Nick.
that's a clever question.
I did
That's a
it.
good question.
Yeah.
I did it too by BC and by Calgary too. That's why I started it out. So 19 career wins against Edmonton with BC. That's the most.
Nick
Awesome.
Kowalski's world famous trivia. Great job, Nick. I would have. You know what? Saskatchewan's probably the best. Yeah, that's number 1.
Yeah,
Great job.
love it.
So we'll have to do that again next week. Get a little trivia going. Matt Baker, thank you so much for your contributions tonight. Nick
Pleasure.
Kowalski as well. Big thank you again to everyone here at the Taphouse in Surrey. Owen and his staff, I want to thank them very much for having us. And for everyone here that came out to see Wally Buono, thanks for stopping by. A reminder, Lions in Calgary this Saturday at 4 o'clock. As Matt mentioned, there are tons of things going on. They got the Pure Later Tackle Hunger. They've got the Wall of Fame inductees at halftime with Wally and the Water Boys.
Forgot one thing. Every ticket purchase, you get free entry to the P&E as well.
Wow.
So
There you go.
That's big.
And again, check
Yeah.
it all out at bclions.com. So all of that's going on Saturday. We'll have the broadcast beginning at 3 o'clock with the Resurrection Spirits pregame show. Kickoff at 4 on AM 730 and the BC Lions Audio Network. It should be a great day with a lot of stuff going on both on and off the field. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Want to thank again the whole staff here at the Taphouse, Owen and his crew, and everyone showing up as well. You know what I'm going to tell you before we get out of here? Do what you got to do. Just do us a favor. Be safe.